We're going to leave Michael Wright from Westpac there to take you instead to Michaelia, the Minister for Jobs and Innovation, speaking about the March jobs figures.
In terms of participation of women in employment, that is at a record high. The unemployment rate remained steady at 5.5%, and participation, in other words, people putting up their hand and saying, I'm ready, willing and able to undertake work, remains very, very strong. Since the Coalition came to government in September of 2013, the economy has created approximately 997,000 jobs. I mean, as a government, we know governments themselves don't actually create jobs. That's what businesses like Air Radiators do. But what we do is put in place the policies that ensure that businesses like Air Radiators can prosper and grow. And that, as a government, is what we're all about. So we are pleased that the economy continues to create jobs, approximately 5,000 jobs for the month of March, but we're not going to stop. We are going to continue to put in place the right policies so businesses like Air Radiators here in Geelong or Lara Geelong can continue to do what we need them to do, which is create more jobs and become more productive.
And Minister, can I also say that across the Geelong region we've seen an increase in jobs since we were elected of 16,500 against some pretty dramatic headwinds, including in the manufacturing sector. And in the Corangamite electorate we've gone from 4.3% unemployment to 3.4% unemployment. So our investment in local job creation programs, the regional jobs and investment package, the extensive support we've provided for manufacturing and the Geelong Region Innovation and Investment Fund are just some of the ways that we are continuing to invest in jobs, give businesses the confidence to invest and, of course, support wonderful businesses like Air Radiators.
And, of course, we were at Luzon Aged Care earlier today, where we were delighted to hear about their Launch into Work project, which is all about getting women who may not have the skills or the confidence to enter the workforce, giving them that opportunity. And it was a great conversation, and 10 women will now be the beneficiaries of the program that Luzon Aged Care are putting into place. So, again, another good news story for you as a Member of Parliament.
Wonderful.
Any questions?
Senator, what's your response to the unemployment rate being on hold at 5.5% for the third straight month?
Well, again, it's remained steady, but you need to look at the participation rate, which obviously is also remaining steady, and Australians are out there putting up their hands and saying, I'm ready, willing and able to work. You also need to look at the trend figures over the last 12 months. As I said, employment continues to grow in Australia. Last month, the economy created 5,000 jobs. Employment is growing at a rate of 3%. That's almost double the decade average of 1.6%. But you also need to compare the figures in terms of the last 12 months of this government, the Turnbull government, and the last 12 months of the former Labor government. We are creating jobs, or the economy is creating jobs under the Turnbull government at 4 times the rate of the former Labor government. But the stark contrast is in relation to the creation of full-time jobs. Almost 230,000 of the jobs created under the Turnbull government in the last 12 months were full-time jobs. In the last 12 months of the former Labor government, the economy actually lost almost 17,000 full-time jobs. And certainly in terms of job creation, in the last 12 months, businesses are out there and they are creating in excess of 1,000 jobs a day. That is good news for Australians.
What's the response to Daniel Andrews today, the Premier denying allegations from the United Firefighters Union of secret tape recordings of secret deals?
Well, again, I am very concerned by what has been alleged today. Obviously, the Coalition has always been of the belief that the members of the MFB or the CFA must come first. As you know, we took action in 2016 to protect the fantastic volunteer firefighters in Victoria's CFA from a hostile union takeover. But to see today allegations that the UFU and the Daniel Andrews Labor government have a secret deal so that the UFU are able to veto the appointment of the MFB's new chair they are very, very concerning. And certainly, you know, Daniel Andrews needs to come clean and tell the people of Victoria whether or not he yet again has been out there doing secret deals, doing deals with Peter Marshall and the UFU that are at the expense of those fantastic people who put their lives on the line every day, in particular, Sarah, you know, in summer when you have some pretty horrific conditions.
Well, that's right, and across Corangamite, which is a very high bushfire-prone area, the CFA volunteers working right across Corangamite, and of course there's 60,000 across Victoria, are so valuable, and they've done an extraordinary job recently in the southwest Victoria bushfires, also of course at Wye River, and it is really very, very concerning that there is this push by the Labor government to diminish and I think frankly smash the volunteer workforce of the CFA in this very concerning secret deal.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michaelia.